guys, it's Christina. Today I'll be talking about how I avoided post-grad syndrome. What I consider to be post-grad syndrome is you don't have a job yet. You're living with your parents or you live by yourself, whatever the case may be. You don't have anything lined up. You're not working. You're kind of just in that in-between stage of like looking for jobs and not knowing what to do until you find a job. And it's depressing. It's like I was there. It's depressing. You get sad. You get lonely. Because once you graduate, what no one talks about is like all your friends spread out. You guys have schedules now. You can't just pick up the phone and call your friend on a random Tuesday night. You have to schedule calls in advance. So it's really like a different time. It's like everyone is moving on with their own lives, going on their own paths. So it's really challenging to like see where you fit in other people's lives and just build a routine yourself right after graduation. So since I went through it, I just really want to help other people who are going through it kind of know how to navigate this space a little better because it's rough. Trust me, it's rough. So these are things that I did to get out of post-grad syndrome. The first thing I did to get out of post-grad syndrome is to build a community or a network of people. After graduating college, I was at a period of time where I didn't know what to do. I was sitting at home bored all the time. And eventually I was like, let me start networking, because if I do want a job, yes, applying online is great, but what's even better is having a network, because trust me, those applications can only get you so far. If you don't have a stellar resume, especially in this economy, it will only take you so far. So yes, I'm not saying don't apply for jobs, but I'm saying in addition to applying for jobs, I 100% recommend going out and networking and finding these events. How do you do that, do you ask? Trust me. I would go on Eventbrite or even Google. I would go on Eventbrite or Google and I literally looked up networking events near me. So once you look up these events, go to an event that you actually, it's similar to your interests. Okay, does that make sense? Like if you're interested in bowling, look up bowling events. You know what I mean? It's like actually go to things that you're interested in, because then you'll meet like-minded people like you. This will help you like if you're looking for jobs. If you go to networking events that are geared towards your industry that you're trying to get into, trust me, making those connections, even if it doesn't seem like it at first, will pay off in the long run. And even if no one just offers you a job off the bat, keeping a rapport with these people is beneficial for both of you and them. So just 100% network. So this gives you something to do in the meantime, and it also helps build your professional rapport and your professional reputation. So I 100% recommend this. This has helped me a lot. I've gone to maybe 10 to 15 networking events since I started doing it. And the amount of contacts I've made and people who can actually help me and people I can offer my services to them is like insane. So I highly recommend it. So that's number one. The second thing that I suggest to do if you're facing post-grad syndrome, learn a skill. And this is something I did that I think helped me a lot. If you're looking for a job and you have yet to hear back from anyone, you can be learning a skill that you might think would help you in that job field in the future. So what I mean by that, if you want to be a social media coordinator, I didn't even go to school for that, but that's something that I kind of was interested in after graduating. I was like, you know what? Let me like do my research. Let me learn about this so that I can apply it to maybe a future job. And it makes you more marketable. If you take a class, like I took a Google certificate class, it was free and I could put that on my resume. So even though I didn't even go to college for like marketing or anything like that, I learned, I didn't learn it, like I'm not an expert on it obviously, but like I started building the foundations and the skills, and I gained something that I can just put on my resume and talk about it to future employers, if that makes sense. So if you're just in bed all day, you don't know what to do, you don't know where to start, Google, oh, I'm interested in scuba diving certificates. Okay, go on Google, look up scuba diving certificates. And let me tell you, not all of them are gonna be free. Maybe you'll have to pay for them, but there are so many free resources out there for almost, I want to say a lot of the majority of industries that people are interested in for free. You just have to do your research. So if you really think that an industry, or like me, if you're like me and you went to college for something that you don't even want to do in the future, start with Googling and looking up certificates or any way you can learn. Learning is a key fundamental thing. Like you just have to learn, and like it'll help you like move forward. Whether it's like, it doesn't have to be the most fancy, expensive thing ever. Anything that shows experience, anything that shows that you're trying to get your foot in that door will help you. Like I promise. Like reading a book, get a book. marketing 101 or scuba diving 101. Knowledge is the first step to building whatever you want to do in that certain industry. So I highly recommend learning a skill. Number 3, pick up a hobby. And I think this is like self-explanatory, but like I started knitting again. When you graduate, or even like when you're in school, you forget so much of the things that brought you joy because you were busy studying and you didn't have time to do anything you enjoyed. So like I would really suggest you to pick up something that you used to like as a child, or this used to bring you joy as a child or when you were younger, but you just had no time for it. Rediscover it. Like I think it's really amazing when you can just pick up something that you did like a whole bunch of years ago and you really love it again, and you just started as a hobby again. And that's what I did with knitting. So I used to knit when I was like in middle school and like here and there, and I was so bored right after I graduated and I was living at home that I was like, let me just start knitting again. And I realized that I love knitting. And that's the same for reading. Like I used to not read, like from middle school all the way to my senior year of college. I did not pick up maybe a single book out of me just wanting to read. But after I graduated, I was like, wait, I actually enjoy reading. And this is something I forgot I even liked. So maybe like if you used to love to do something like coloring or like anything creative or anything, regardless, just pick it up and see if you like it still. This next one is one of my favorites because I love talking about this. So number 4 is start building new habits. So this is being very intentional. So what you do here is take a piece of paper. I really highly suggest writing this down because just so you can visualize it, just so you can see it and put it out there. So I would take paper and a pen or whatever, write down who you want to be. Let's start there. I'll write down who you want to be and then work backwards. How do you get there? And that sounds so corny. Like I'm really not trying to sound like a motivational speaker, but like I'm so passionate about this because it really does help. So I would definitely say, start small, like making your bed. If you're a messy person, no offense to you, but if you're a messy person, be like, I want to make my bed every day. Start small, make your bed. Okay, cool. You want to start meditating. That's one of the things I did. I started meditating for 10 minutes every day. So just these little things, even though they sound small in the moment, trust me, they have such big rewards if you stick through it because it's building discipline, it's building consistency. If you want to break habits, it's the same thing. Work on that, because even though it seems like life is confusing during that time after you graduate, what you do can positively impact your future. So this time period when you seem confused, work on yourself, work on building discipline, work on all these things that can take you so much farther in life. Plan and visualize what you want. If you can live your dream life, it's not even a dream because you can make it happen. If you can just plan what you see your life looking like, write it down. If you don't know what you want in life, how are you even going to get there? Before you even have the job, it's so beneficial just to vocalize and just to visualize what you want as a person. To be accurate either. If you don't know exactly what you want to do, don't force it, but just start to formulate the idea of what you want. And this is also one of my favorites. I lost count. I don't know how many this is, but reflect. During that period of time that you don't have a job, I think it is so important to reflect on your college years, to reflect on who you were back then, reflect on who you want to be. You don't want to just jump into something because that's what other people want you to do. Like right after you graduate, you're like, okay, I just graduated with this degree, and since I'm supposed to go to this, I'm gonna go into it. That's what I was gonna do with law school. I was gonna go to law school, and when I reflected on it, I was like, do I really want to do that though? And I realized I didn't. And you don't want to rush into something because you don't want to make not a mistake, but you don't want to do something that you might regret years later because you didn't take time to see if that's what you really wanted in the moment. Don't just make blind decisions. Really reflect on what you want as a person. Use that to make decisions moving forward, if that makes sense. Because if I didn't take the time to be like, what do I want? Who am I right now? What do I want my life to look like? I would have probably gone straight into law school and I would have hated it. And I would have hated my life. And there's no right answer. There's no wrong or right answer. It matters about what you want for yourself. Don't let outside people try to tell you what you want, what they want for your life. You're the only one that lives in your skin. You're the only one that lives in your life. The next one is research. If you're in that stage where you just graduated college, you're looking for jobs, I would say research, because Most people do leave college like, okay, I want to be in this field or I want to do this. There's so many more opportunities in different fields that you might like even more than what you thought. And you might not even know it because you didn't research what was out there. The next thing is acceptance. So the reason why I say acceptance is because I feel like one of the main reasons why people feel so lost after graduating college is because they crave the familiarity that they had with school. From pre-K to, if you went to college, to senior year of college, it was a routine. Once you graduate and you have nothing lined up and you're not going to grad school, you're not going to law school, med school, whatever, that gets torn under you. Like, that gets like shoved, like, no, like, yeah, it just goes out the window. Familiarity goes out the window, routine goes out the window, and that's terrifying. Trust me, that's what I felt. It was terrifying not having a routine, not knowing how my future was gonna look. And that's why I'm saying acceptance is huge, because it's scary, it's terrifying, it's uncomfortable, but it has to be. It has to be. Like, if you're really in that stage where you're nervous and you're terrified because there's so many new changes happening in your life, that's a good thing. You don't want to be stagnant. You don't want to be in the same situation your whole life. Change is scary, it's uncomfortable, but once you accept the fact that your life is different, you can accept it and you can appreciate it for what it is now. So the next piece of advice for post-grad syndrome is giving yourself grace. And it can be so hard comparing yourself to all your friends that just graduated, and they might be working at big firms, or they just got into law school, or they just went to med school, and you're like, why do I not have a job? Why am I unemployed? What's wrong with me? And trust me, it's not your fault. Like, it's really not. You are fine. And trust me, most people are in the same boat. So don't let what you see around you discourage you, because you will get a job and it will work out for you too. You're fine. Just trust me. I have a job, and I've started to kind of get into a new routine. But before that happened, I didn't have anything, and so I had to be comfortable not having anything so I could build the life I'm starting to build now. Like, I'm not there yet. Like, I'm not all the way where I want to be, but it took me getting rid of the old to bring in the new. So I'm glad that I had that period of time after graduating where I could really just reflect and do everything that I told you guys about, because it's building my stepping stones to get to where I want to be in the future. I understand it's terrifying and change is terrifying, but if you really just put your best foot forward to take advantage of the time that you have right now where you're not working and you're not really obligated to do anything, you should take advantage of that, because even though it doesn't seem like it, it's a blessing. Like, don't stress yourself out about it. You'll find a job, and even if it's not the job you anticipated, it will work out. It's a stepping stone. You will get there. I just don't want anyone to freak out, because I freaked out, and it's so scary and it's so uncomfortable. But I personally feel like if you're comfortable for too long, then you need to leave that environment anyway, because you need to grow, and you're not going to grow in the same environment. You have to eventually jump off and try something different, if that makes sense. I don't know, I'm just talking now. But those are my pieces of advice for people who are just graduating and they're scared and they don't know what to expect and they don't know what to do. So I hope that kind of helped. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to speak on it, because I'm not in the same boat like that, but like, I'm figuring it out slowly. So I clearly don't know everything. So if you want to just talk to me about what you're experiencing, I'll be more than happy to listen to you. Or if you want any advice about how I find these events, like what kind of events I go to or what I like to do to like get out of that post-grad syndrome, I'll talk about that too. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.